Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to Utility Sports. Today, we're going to be talking about the G League Ignite team here, the brand new team that features Jalen Green, Jonathan Kuminga, Daishen Nix, Isaiah Todd, and a few other nice prospects, as well as some former NBA veterans, guys who are trying to get back to the league. They made their debut today against the Santa Cruz Warriors here in the G League, and as you can tell here, the game is just wrapping up. They are up by 5. I watched this entire game, and I've got some takeaways on the prospects here and also some of the guys that are fighting back for NBA spots. One of those for the Santa Cruz Warriors being Jeremy Lin. And for G League Ignite, we got guys like Jarrett Jack, for example. There's a few other guys as well that's worth mentioning. But first, let's jump right into who the important prospects are in this game and how they either hurt or help their draft stock today. The first one I want to talk about is Jonathan Kuminga. And wow, oh wow, did he help his draft stock today. He was the best player on the floor from start to finish. He actually sealed the win for G League Ignite with a huge block on Jordan Poole right at the rim. And I mean, it was huge. His athleticism was on full display today. He's a 6'8" wing, 220 plus pounds, and he's skilled. He can play both ends of the floor. I'm telling you right now, he has true star potential in the NBA. He's going to be a guy that I think could very likely go first overall in the NBA draft if he continues to play this way at this level of competition. The G League is a much higher level of competition than college basketball is. And I firmly believe that as well. We've got guys on the Santa Cruz Warriors today like Axel Toupane, former G League All-Star. Jeremy Lin, a former NBA player, had a long career, played overseas as well with China last year. And they've got some draft picks there as well. Nico Mannion played today. He played pretty all right. But Jonathan Kuminga was the best player on the floor out of all those guys, including Jarrett Jack, who's had a long career for now playing for the G League Ignite. Kuminga was better than him, and Jarrett Jack played very well today. Kuminga, at the age of 19 years old, already looking to be an NBA-ready prospect, someone who's going to come in, give you effort on both ends of the floor. And one thing I wasn't really expecting from him, his ability to create off the dribble. He did that time and time again today. In the mid-range area, creating separation off the bounce. Really solid and polished back to the basket game actually as well. Variety of spin moves, can spin over both shoulders, can hit the mid-range shot, pull up three-pointers as well. Wide variety of things Kuminga did today that really impressed me when I go and look at the evaluation portion of this game. And I'm trying to dive into what these players are going to be in the NBA level. For those of you who don't know, I spend a lot of time with the NBA draft prospects, looking them over, really studying their games, what they're going to bring to the league. And wow, I'm in love with Jonathan Kuminga as a prospect. You guys know how high I am on Cade Cunningham. Jonathan Kuminga has a very good chance to pass him as my number one prospect in this class. There's still 14 more regular season games for the G League yet. They are having a 15-game condensed season before the playoffs. So it'll be interesting to see how he continues to play. I will be monitoring that. So if you guys do want to keep up with him and his progression in the G League, you guys need to subscribe here. We have that content. We were going to be bringing that out to you guys every time anything big happens, like this debut game. Now, the other guy, the hype guy, Jalen Green, number 2 in the nation in his recruiting class, was the first guy to sign up to play for G League Ignite. He didn't play as great today. I believe he shot under 50% from the field, had 3 or 4 turnovers. I think kind of struggled, honestly. He's a little more one-dimensional than Kuminga is. Kuminga really does a good job drawing contact and playing through it. Right now, Jalen Green doesn't do that as much. He is an effortless athlete, though. He can fly off the floor. Do I think he's still worthy of a top 5 pick after today's game? Of course I do. I'm not going to go that low on him. He didn't even play terribly. This is his first professional game, and he played okay. I believe he had 11 points. The box score part is not working here on the ESPN app, but that's okay because I have the game all down for the most part. And I'm looking at Jalen Green, what I saw from him. He's really electric going to his right. He needs to improve when it comes to taking contact, though, like I mentioned. Needs to improve with his left hand and needs to become a little bit more consistent with his handle. I think those were some of the issues I noticed today. His change of direction's a little spotty. Shooting's a little spotty. He doesn't really like to shoot on the move as much, something I think that he's going to have to improve with his play style going so north and south consistently. But there is a lot to build on there. Athletically, I think he's extremely gifted, can do a lot without the ball in his hands as a backdoor cutter, a guy in transition. And I think there's a lot of potential defensively for him as well if he really hones in. Right now, I've got some questions about his skills with the ball in his hand, but there's still a lot to work with, and he's only 19 years old. He just turned 19 yesterday, actually, and I just don't want to rule anything out with him. I think there's a lot of room to grow, and he's still a very, very good prospect moving forward. Now, one G League prospect that I've been higher on than most other people was Daishen Nix, and I'm even higher on him now after today's game. He is going to be the biggest riser from this G League Ignite team. I've been saying that for most of the preseason here leading up to this, and everything I've thought was validated today. His pace of play, his frame. He's a 6'5" point guard with about a 230-pound frame. He's bulky. He can play with guys on his hip. He has a good pace to his game, doesn't get sped up, can accelerate quickly. When he's decisive, he goes. He makes his decisions quickly, and he can see the entire floor. He is a very natural playmaker, someone who can read opposite corner, strong side corner, adjusts his game to help defense, can find ways to put the ball in the hoop himself, plays through contact very well. He's a very polished ball handler as well already. At the age of 19 years old, he's already very comfortable with the guy on his back hip, crab dribbling, lead dribbling, push dribbling in space and in tight spaces rather, and manipulating the pick and roll. I was very impressed again with Daishen Nix today. I think he's going to play himself into a for sure lottery pick with what his performance looked like today against a pretty good Santa Cruz Warriors G League team. Now, for another player here, Isaiah Todd. Some people seem to be really high on him. I am less high on him than others. I think that there is some raw potential there. He's a bigger guy. He's going to play the 4 in the NBA, in my opinion. And he's got some touch as a shooter. He's got some ball handling ability, but I just don't know if I see it all coming together for him quite yet. He's going to be a guy that I really have to see more of as the G League season progresses, because today there wasn't a huge sample size. I think he got the least amount of minutes among these 4 big-time prospects that G League Ignite have on that roster. And I just didn't get to see him as much. He played about probably 15, 20 minutes, but he was off the ball a lot, didn't really get to function as a screener. Remember, this team has multitudes of players. They've got guys like Donta Hall. They've also got some other bigs in there, Brandon Ashley being one of those, that kind of eat up those minutes as well. I think Isaiah Todd does have some potential, but he has a lot of room to grow to reach that. And right now, I'm just the lowest on him out of all 4 of these guys that are really big deals. We didn't get to see Kai Soto today. For those of you who don't know, he's a 7'2" center. I think there is some potential there for him, but he did not play in today's game. So that'll be something that we need to kind of look for moving forward. If he starts to get some run or not, that will really impact his draft stock. But for those three first players that I mentioned, being Jonathan Kuminga, Jalen Green, and Daishen Nix, Jonathan Kuminga shined the most. He played himself into a probably top 2 pick already, in my opinion. Him and Cade Cunningham are the top 2 players in this class, in my estimation. Kuminga specifically gets it done on both ends. Great frame. I love his play. I love his play style. I think he's able to get off shots on his own, something I was a little nervous about for him. In fact, I thought Jalen Green was going to be a lot more ready for that at this G League level. However, it looks like Kuminga's the one way more comfortable, brought up the ball multiple times against full court press, played a little bit of point forward, had a few beautiful dimes. I'm very excited about him. Jalen Green, there's still a lot of room for growth there. Really great athlete. I think that he's going to continue to be a top 5 pick in the NBA draft throughout this whole process. And Daishen Nix, a guy who maybe some of the others have been lower on. Some people even looked at him as a 2nd-round pick. I think he's going to play himself into a lottery pick. Good frame, a bigger player, not superly explosive, but when he makes a decision, he goes. He's quick with it. He understands defenses, and he can read the floor. I really like that. Now let's talk about some of the veterans here. Jarrett Jack hasn't played in the NBA since 2017, 2018. We need him to get back in the NBA. He was magnificent today, only missed 1 shot. I think he was 9 of 10 from the field and led all scorers with 21, I believe. And most of his shots didn't hit the rim either. They were straight swishes out from the 3-point line, mid-range game off the dribble. He was magnificent all over the floor. I think he could actually really help an NBA team at this point. And I think this is a perfect situation for G League Ignite. They have a nice veteran, someone who's had such a long career and has been really successful. They're helping out some of these young guys. I think that's going to be very important in that mentorship role for them. Now for the Santa Cruz Warriors, some guys that really stuck out to me. Axel Toupane, a former G League All-Star like I had talked about. I had been aware of him multiple years ago, and boy, is he athletic. He still has it. I think that he's going to be a guy that could maybe float onto an NBA roster by the end of the year, right before playoff time. I don't really see him getting a lot of NBA minutes, but I think he's a guy to watch for that could get brought up from the G League at some point this season. Nico Mannion being the other guy that I really want to talk about here, one of the other two guys from the Santa Cruz Warriors that played fairly well to me. He had a big responsibility of guarding Jalen Green, and there was a lot of knocks on Nico Mannion about his athleticism and fit in the NBA, and Jalen Green, extremely athletic. Nico Mannion did a magnificent job staying in front of Jalen Green, cutting him off at the spot, and limiting what he was able to do with the ball in his hands. Nico Mannion deserves a lot of credit for his performance today, even in a loss. Didn't shoot the ball super well, but his basketball IQ is one of the top from his class. I had believed that last year. I still believe that now after watching him closer today with the Santa Cruz Warriors. I think he's going to get some NBA run this year as well. Obviously going to be a two-way player for the majority of the season, which would allow him to at least have 30 days up in the NBA. I think that we're going to get to see him play a few NBA games this year, which I'm very excited about. And the other guy that I want to mention for the Santa Cruz Warriors is Jeremy Lin. Jeremy Lin is an NBA-level player. I fully believe that. I feel like he is a guy who should be on an NBA roster right now, helping out a team. We had seen the Warriors want to finalize that with him. I would be extremely surprised if Jeremy Lin doesn't end up being a Golden State Warrior by the end of the season and up on that active roster, really helping them out. Another guy I really like to mention quickly, I guess, too, for the Santa Cruz Warriors was Jordan Poole. He looked pretty good today. We got to see him a lot last year while the Warriors were injured. And he can shoot the ball, but he also did a really, very good job today impressing me on his ability to get to the rim. I think there's a lot to build on there as he's still a young player, you know. I think there's a lot of room for him. But the biggest takeaway for me today is Jonathan Kuminga. Watch out for this guy. He has superstar written all over him in the NBA. Point forward skills, ability to get off his own shot, great frame, 6'8", long wingspan, good body, athletic, can play through contact. He's going to be a force in the NBA. I'm telling you guys right now, watch out for Jonathan Kuminga. He's going to be a top 2 pick in this draft. I'd be extremely surprised if he isn't. This is a really talented class, okay, with Cade Cunningham, Jonathan Kuminga, Evan Mobley out of USC, Jalen Green as well, Jalen Suggs. I really, really think this is one of the strongest classes we've seen in recent years. And I'm very excited as this draft process continues, getting to see more of these G League guys, especially G League Ignite, what it could look like for them transitioning to the NBA. I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. If you did and are more interested in more G League content moving forward, please hit that subscribe button, smash the like button. We really appreciate you guys, and we'll catch you in the next video.